a Zoom with me is an incredible, inspirational human being who is going to definitely inspire you to do more and do better, but also take care of you. Her name is Kim Lee Wentzel-Ricketts. Kim, welcome to my Zoom.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so first things first, you wear a lot of hats. You are an industrial psychologist, a public speaker, and an artist manager. I'm sure you are also a daughter, a friend, a partner, someone's tutor, because we're always someone's tutor or mentor, and a normal human being as well. So, Kim, talk to me a little bit about where you're from and what made you into the woman that wears all these hats.
With all of those, I'm like, yes, I do all those things in one day, and I still do it. So
Wow.
I'm Kimberly Wentzel-Ricketts. I'm from the Cape Flats, all the way in Cape Town, born and bred. I started studies in Cape Town. Currently I'm studying actually through the University of KwaZulu-Natal. So I've been to Durban just to go and visit the campus. I'm doing my PhD in parenting. My background is an industrial psychologist. Completely the reason I joined it, and I'm saying completely because I'm like the reason I went there and decided to immerse myself in becoming an industrial psychologist is because I'm interested in helping people firstly develop and reach their full potential, but also just more broadly understanding how the human mind actually works.
Mm.
It fascinates me, and I think that's also the reason for the multiple hats. In terms of what I do, in terms of who I am, it keeps me grounded in understanding how the world fits together, how we truly create those inclusive spaces and spaces where people feel they can bring their full selves and be their full selves, and also reach their full potential and chase their dreams and their goals. So I'm a granddaughter to a domestic worker. My granny passed away. We spoke a little bit about, or we're going to be speaking a little bit about creating spaces for all. So I'm granddaughter of a domestic worker who came to Cape Town. She's from a small town called Elam. And for me, it's quite big and it's quite a big achievement to be now completing my doctorate because I'll be the first doctor in my family.
Wow.
And then my mom's a stay-at-home mom. So she stopped working when we had my brother, who's younger than I am. And she motivated me to show me that, go for your goals and also what it means to set your goals aside for your kids. And I admire her courage and her strength in that in terms of who she is and how the lessons she's taught me about care, about being a holistic person, chasing your dreams, and also again creating that space. So she gave up her space so that I could be where I am, and many of us could be where we are in terms of my two siblings. So we're three in total. And yeah, that's who Kim is. Kim also loves the beach, so I currently live quite close to the beach. I actually did athletics coaching. You were speaking about the many hats. So I'm an athletics coach. I play football. I used to play. I do some running, love reading, and I also get to delve a little bit into artist management. So for the past, I think it's 8 years now in total, I've managed my now husband. He's my husband for almost 2 years, but I manage him and his band. And how I got into that was also a means of sitting with him and saying, listen, I'd like to, develop myself as a brand, but also looking at where he was and his manager had left to Dubai at the time, chatted to him about how do we work together in building his business and building his brand. And in turn, helping me where I am at in my career in building certain capabilities and strengths I needed. So I always say to him, I use it as a little bit of a playground to test out certain things because it's not an easy industry.
No.
He now has a producer who works with him who does a lot of his management, and I still get to play in it a little bit. But I now join him at events as his wife. It's taken that slant now to, okay, you're now the wife and you need to come to events, and it's so difficult not to go, oh, they're not doing this right or they're not taking care of artists. But overall, I think like you mentioned, I'm a multifaceted individual, and I think we all have some kind of story, and that's a little bit about my story.
I love your story. Okay, my next question. I don't just ask women this. I just want to preface this question with I ask absolutely every human being that I interview that does a lot of things this question because there is a leaning into self care and being softer on oneself, especially after the pandemic. And I'm sure you've seen it all over social media. Hustle culture
Mm.
is dying officially. This Gen Zers are
Yes.
killing it, and we must chill. But you are not chilling because like us millennial people, we must always be busy. but
Mhm.
there must be also down. What is your down, and what does your day look like with all of these hats?
I just got to chill. As you said, what is my down? I think my down is when I wake up in the morning. So I'm an early riser. I get up between 5 and 5:30,
Yeah, no.
and I meditate. I pray. I read my Bible, or just listen to the Word. Try to squeeze in a little bit of an exercise routine. I haven't been good at keeping to it, but I try. And I generally start my day at 7, my work day at 7. But by then I would have meditated, I would have, had some quiet time, had a cup of tea, had a shower. And I think that just grounds me for the day. It
Okay.
literally grounds me and sets the tone for whichever hat I'm going to need to be wearing on that specific day. That's how I would generally say I take care of myself. And I found that routine has helped me stay grounded, stay focused. Yes, I do get overwhelmed at times because sometimes it is a lot of things coming at me at once. But I find being grounded in that just sets the tone and the mood for chasing the day as such. Yeah.
Okay, for someone who doesn't understand what industrial psychology is, what is that?
It's the what do you call it, that question that changes. Like when people think psychology, they think counseling, that therapy, that's what you do.
Yeah, you're
So
judging us.
all the time when I
Judging
get
us.
invited to these parties, it's she's reading our minds. I
Yes.
do caveat by saying I don't work on weekends, so they're safe. Whoever's around me is safe. But industrial psychology is it's a business psychologist, so it's business therapy, business counseling, but it's also the person that's responsible for understanding why people behave in certain ways in the workplace, understanding why people do certain things, what keeps them motivated, what drives them, and how to set up different practices or set up different spaces to ensure that people, again, can be productive, can reach their full potential, are happy, are motivated, and can do work that they love and that inspire them as well.
This is a very big joke, Kim. This is a very, just thinking about some of the workspaces that I've been in, all of those things are big things to do. And you're coming in, one woman, to probably a corporation or a company with many, many people, maybe even hundreds. And now you have to fix all of these things. It's very overwhelming. Why this specific degree? Well, like, what? I mean, I feel like we joked about psychology, but I feel like that would be so much easier. You just sit and listen.
So I mentioned it a little bit earlier. I have a passion for people listening to people, caring about people, and making a difference. And collectively looking at how people grow and develop with making a difference and understanding who people are. I think that sums up the role of what I do every day. I literally get to listen to people and understand and get an understanding for where it is that they act from a mind space perspective. And then I get to understand what troubles them, what makes work not a great place to go to. But I also get to look at solutions then, and solve it in some way or propose certain solutions, but also learn from others in terms of what has worked for them and share the fact that there's certain things I do that may work for them and learn in terms of what I could still do. And I think that's why this specific field still fascinates me. I've been doing it for 15 years now. And every day I wake up and it doesn't feel like work. It literally feels like I get to live my best life every day because I'm making a difference and I get to just impact one person. Or if I just impact one person by just listening to their story, the space they're in. I remember earlier today I was speaking to someone and we were talking about load shedding and the stress that load shedding has now brought, but the gratitude that the person has for now spending time with their family. And I sat there going, look at how you can turn a situation like load shedding that people are really frustrated about. I mean, I also had lots of challenges today with load shedding, but listening to it and thinking about it in a positive manner. And I think that's what I strive to do every day. Look for that opportunity and help people see the opportunity and the good in that day.
Okay. I've just got to also say, I've recently learned to accept and love load shedding yesterday, in fact, because it was another, and no one knows this, but we've rescheduled this meeting because of my load shedding and my internet that exploded, or didn't explode. I'm very dramatic. Blew up. Same thing, because of the load shedding. Anyway, so yesterday load shedding hit and everything died and I couldn't do anything. And I found myself at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the bubble bath with a book. And you know what? It was the best thing that could have happened that day because it set the rest of the week. It was almost like that hour that I spent with myself was necessary. And there was this like message from the universe or whomever it is that yes, everyone has load shedding. It's not specifically Danny, but I think we must all take something from that, just
You
down.
mentioned self-care, and the importance and how we get lost in the rat race of busy, busy, busy doing.
Yeah.
And how I feel that it's given us an opportunity to slow down, to actually focus on what's important and who's around us. I was also chatting to the person and saying, you know what? Nothing stops us from sitting outside, having a candle at dinner. Those, not the candles that you need to light, but those other ones that you can buy, the one that are solar lit or that you can have, that you set up. Have meal outside, spend time with your kids outside, just appreciating that you can go outdoors now because we've been inside for so long.
Yeah.
And to your point, have that bubble bath. Take that time out to go for that walk that you've been wanting to do, or read that book that you never get a chance to read. But just disconnect from being connected like this in terms of technology and devices, and connect with those who are around you in a real way by being present.
Yes.
I think that's from a self-care perspective, that's what it's definitely been teaching me these past few days.
Oh yeah, no. My life coach used to say to me this thing about analog time, and I never listened to him. I was always like, analog what? And in the pandemic and in load shedding, I learned what analog time is. It's time off of the digital space, and it's so good for you. But Kim, speaking of the pandemic, you are an industrial psychologist, and perhaps we are business owners that are listening, but perhaps we have domestic workers, a garden service, maybe 1 or 2 staff members in a small shop somewhere. How can we rather be supporting our staff coming out of this global pandemic, still kind of unsure, but definitely more freedom? What can we be doing to be better employers?
So I think understanding the notion, firstly being understanding, it starts with that, being understanding of the loss that these individuals may have faced as well during the pandemic, be it loss of income, be it loss of family members, be it losses that you may be struggling with, and not taking note that it's not just you that is going through it, but also understanding where that person now is at mentally, physically, and emotionally. I think that for a start is what we can do. Some of the things we've done in my household is also care packs. So really treating people as people and saying, listen, so you've not been able to travel to your family, for example, because guess what? We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't send anything. Some of the things we did is care packs and said, what are the things that you need to just, get by from a day-to-day perspective? So truly listening, understanding, and providing that care by showing through your actions that, we've got you. We've added bonuses. We've still paid where work could not be done. Ensuring, because what I forgot to mention is that I'm also a business owner. So I manage a fashion brand with my husband as well, which is my fashion brand, and he's got his own fashion label.
Oh my gosh.
And what we found during that time was that we actually got our CMT to work. We work with the CMT, and we got them to do masks for us during the pandemic, to which this lady could then bring more of her employees back. Just so that they could have some work going. So it's thinking out of the box about other solutions and other ways that we can also keep them motivated. Or when I say them, keep our employees motivated, keep our business, people who are managing our businesses or running our businesses motivated during this time. As much as, I think it's also not to lose sight of, as much as we need that person to reflect, that sounding board, that way to think differently. These people that work for us needed to, because we're all people first. As much as we wear many different hats, we have many different titles, many different roles we need to play in a day. It's that fundamental understanding that we're people first, and that if we can have those real conversations, I feel that that's what's grounded me in saying, listen, I'm having a bad day, or I can't come in today because I'm actually not sure. I'm feeling a bit under the weather, and I don't think it's fair on me to come into your space with not knowing what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
So it's that. I keep going back to understanding. I think that not just tolerance, but understanding for where people are at. And yes, we get angry, we get frustrated because these things happen. I told someone earlier, I couldn't send you a message because of load shedding, and I felt like it was an excuse, but it's a reality. And I think once we own up to our realities by being honest and creating the space to have those conversations, from a support perspective, it becomes that much easier. From a trust perspective, it becomes that much easier. So I think it's allowing people the space to own where they're at, but also supporting them in ways, like I said, with food aid, because some people may just need food. Some people may just need an ear in saying, listen, it's been tough. And by giving that ear, you may be making the world of a difference to your employee without even realizing it.
100%. Okay, so not only are you making the world a better place for all of the employees in the world and employers, but you also received a new Affinity Group Award, right? Which is for the project and group that you established and continue to lead, which creates spaces and platforms for the LGBTQ community. And this is a community that I will fight vehemently for. This is my hill, right? And I want to just talk a little bit about this because I feel like of late there's been a lot of negative press around the LGBTQ community and what they stand for, and this very fear-mongering, misunderstand nonsense. And I'm going to say nonsense, and I'm going to stand with my nonsense. Can you talk to us a little bit about the importance of having inclusivity in your workplace for both employers and employees alike?
So my passion runs as deep as yours does. For people who are othered or seen as being othered, or seeing us being different just because of who we love or who and what we represent. And I think it goes broader than the who we love. I think from a culture perspective, just appreciating that we are different. Yeah. We have different starting points. We have different thoughts. We have different ideas, different experiences. For employers, I think there's definitely an opportunity to take all of that in one person and truly understand in creating that space how you can unlock so much more as a business or as an organization in truly bringing to light who that person truly is. And again, I know I mentioned it earlier, but it comes down to you have people working for you. Before they're that employer, they are a person. They've got their own thoughts. You've employed them because of their thoughts. You've employed them because of what they bring. So why shut it down? And I think that's the importance for me is we are also different, and in our different, we have a similarity in making the world a better place. I fundamentally believe that we're all here to make the world a better place, and we can all contribute in our own way in what the world looks like. So from an employer perspective, I think it's an opportunity to leverage who we have as employees in the organization by understanding what everybody brings, by understanding the differences and embracing and creating spaces where people who have those differences can thrive and educate one another to grow. For employees, I think it's also that. It's educating the employer about how big, from a brand perspective, who you can attract, the type of people and the type of spaces that you could find yourself playing in because of who you attract and because of what you're opening yourself up to from an inclusivity perspective. I'm currently working on a disability project as well. And it's opened my eyes. I say opened my eyes because I was having this conversation the other day around there's so many things we take for granted, especially with mask wearing, from an inclusivity perspective. Some people thrive on reading lips. Now I have a mask covering my face. And how are we creating those kinds of inclusive spaces for all? Are we truly being inclusive in our practices? So I think it stems to truly understanding that we are all different. We may all have different thoughts, different ideas. We have all at different starting points. But what connects us is that we are people. All of us have a heart. All of us have an intent to do better and to be better. And why this specific group was important for me was because to your point, I also vehemently drive for the community. My friends and family are part of the community. And I think from my generation, it was understanding that it's okay to be different. And what does that difference truly mean? How do we, if I don't understand it, how am I going to be better and do better? And it started last year where it was a conversation about, and it was something as simple as, why do we only have a male and a female toilet in the office? And it then went, but it's more than that. It's showing that we're supportive of all, irrespective of who you love, irrespective of who you identify as. but that you have a story in that who you identify as, and who are we but not to accept. If I can come to work being my full self, why should somebody else not be afforded the same opportunity?
Exactly.
And I believe that's the importance holistically, because like I said, again, it comes back to we people first, and I can't stress it enough, in that we want to make that difference by being who we are. So why not have an opportunity to be who you are each and every single day? Because that's how you get the best out of people. That's how you keep people motivated. And we're not just saying you care, but showing you actually do care by allowing me to just be me each and every single day.
And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, I am far more supportive of companies and businesses who are inclusive across the board. Like you say, disability inclusive, LGBTQ inclusive, all of it. I am far more likely to support you for a longer period of time if I know that you have policies of inclusivity, as opposed to companies that aren't inclusive. I will happily walk away. So I thank you for the work that you do. I think more people need to be doing work like you do. And we definitely need more Wentzel-Ricketts in the world, Wentzel-Ricketts. But so you're busy, right? And you're doing your doctorate. What else are you up to in 2022? Because I feel like you are never going to stop.
So no, I'm not. I think that's my plight, to do more and be better each and every day. So I'm currently going to be launching a new range of dresses and kimonos that are coming out. I think it's the first week in May we're aiming for.
Okay.
Because May is my birthday, so it's partly my birthday, and with Mother's Day, that's where we're aiming for. Some travel this year. So travel's on the cards to go and present at different universities. So I'm very excited about that piece of work, being my PhD, because I should be finishing my PhD in December this year as well. Okay. No pressure. I know my supervisor will probably be listening and being, yes, she should be. She should definitely be doing some of that research right now. So it's researching, it's working on a new range, still working in industrial psychology. So still got clients, setting up some more employee resource groups in the workplace for belonging. So busy with a women's network, a millennial group, returning mothers, parent group. So once I complete my parenting program, I'm going to bring it into the workplace as well to see how we can work together. Okay. And then also just attending some events. I'll still be doing that. But watch the space. I think there's a lot more I'm still thriving to do this year. Travel's definitely high up there, given the 2 years we've had. So yeah.
Same for me also. I cannot wait to get on an airplane with my passport. I will sit for hours in Cattle class and not moan. I won't say a word. I will shut up and I will enjoy every air mile, every kilometer in that airplane.
Danny, it was that moment of checking that passport to check if it was valid. I was like, wait a minute, is it still valid? I want to travel in the next 2 months. Is it still valid?
And it was?
It is November 2022, cutting it fine. But we're there.
Okay. Well, as long as it's valid, that's all that matters.
There we go.
This was great. Where can we follow you to keep up with all of the things that you do?
So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, all under Wentzel-Ricketts. You can stay tuned to see what's happening in my world over there.
Awesome. Kim, thank you so much for your time. And I think after you've done your PhD, you got to come back. So like maybe in a year's time, let's catch up and see where you are and what you're doing and how you're serving the world then.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you so much to your listeners for having me today as well. I really appreciate it and look forward to connecting and to see where we both are the next time we chat.
Awesome. That's it. We're done. Thank you so much, Kim. This was lovely.
Thank you. And so lovely meeting you as well.
Jacaranda FM.